I would like your help building a Magic the Gathering commander deck. I went through all my cards yesterday or the day before and alive. I've been selling on TCGPlayer for almost a year now, and I have noticed now that my inventory is getting smaller that there were cards. As I was pulling orders, I was finding cards that I don't remember seeing listed. So then it got me looking up my inventory and kind of taking a deeper look. And in fact, there were cards that I had that I thought were listed, but they weren't. So I had the idea of building a commander deck out of the cards that I have left, which generally are lower end cards. All the higher value cards have since sold. So I had the idea of kind of making a very budget hodgepodge commander deck, which I've never built a commander deck in general, and so I just thought it'd be a fun little challenge, but I need everybody's help. So in a live the other day, I went through my inventory and pulled out any legendaries I found, so let's take a quick look at those. Alright, so these were the legendaries that I found from my inventory, pulled them all out, and I was going to go through them one by one and see your thoughts. I've got a couple that are kind of front runners for me, but I do have questions because I played Magic when I was a kid and then didn't play for quite some time and just kind of got back into it in the last couple of years, and I know very little about Commander, so there's a couple of the abilities that I have questions on. So these first two cards are kind of my front runners. Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. One, the name is awesome, but this ability just seems really powerful. You do have to tap it, so that I'm assuming has to be in play, not just in the command zone, because my understanding is like in the command zone I wouldn't be able to tap it. So it would have to be in play in order for me to target it, but it still seems very powerful. Swirling Sky also seems very strong. I typically don't play blue decks, so I would definitely need help with this, but having flying and ward 3 and a triggered ability from when it dies seems pretty powerful, and the ability seems good. So those are my kind of two front runners. Enigma Goliath also seems like a pretty good contender, having ward and a pretty strong ward, and being red and blue whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create X/1/1 Phyrexian Goblins, where X is the mana value. They have haste until the end of turn, so it seems like it would take a while. I mean, you could ramp it up to get it out, but once it's out, it seems like, especially in a red and blue, we are going to be casting a lot of non-creature spells. It seems like once you get it out, you could kind of have a pretty full board. Azuri 3/3 enters. You may pay 3. This one, I don't know. I didn't feel super strong about, just because, I mean, and I guess this is one of my questions. The second line there, when you proliferate, draw a card, does that happen if she's in the command zone, or does she have to be out on the battlefield? There's a couple more cards that have things like that I didn't know how the command zone works exactly, if those abilities still apply. Hexgold Nabber 2/2 Trample Haste. This seemed kind of cool, like an equipment deck. But again, what I didn't know in the wording on this one, you may attach all equipment attached to that creature to Rook. So you still have to pay, I'm assuming, the equipped cost. Just by saying you may attach it, does that mean you can equip it to Rook without paying the equip cost? Or do you still have to pay the equip cost? That was my question on that one. Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on a target creature, and then that creature gains flying until the end of turn. Also seem very powerful, and with the low cost, you know, you'd have it out pretty early. Seems could be interesting. An enchantment deck. Again, not normally a style of deck I typically play, but could be good. Imperial Champion. I didn't like the 3-color. Honestly, this is kind of the bottom of my list. It seems like an okay card, but I feel like there's better options here. Same with Consortium Raider. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under control, put a 1/1 counter on a target pirate you control. I don't really have an interest in a pirate deck. Devouring Chaos, same thing. Just didn't really jump out to me as a great option. This was one, at first when I read it, I was like, oh, that sounds good. But after thinking about it, whenever it would also benefit the other players at the table, which in a commander game could be fun, but it's not really something for my first commander deck that I'm looking to build, but could be kind of cool, fun, interesting. Same, this just, as far as like being a commander, didn't seem very great. Urg, same thing. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card in your graveyard. Again, does Urg have to be in the battlefield, or does that happen even if he's in the command zone? Same with being able to sacrifice a land to gain 2 life. Again, this one seemed pretty interesting too, going making copies. Making the copies. I thought that'd be a fun little tagline. But I didn't know tapping 2 and then tapping him. I'm assuming this has to be out on the battlefield. So it just didn't seem like a great option, like, because I'm not going to have it out early because he costs 4 to bring out. And only being a 3/3, it just seems like he would be targeted like instantly. So this didn't seem worth it. And Slow Bad Iron Goblin. Sacrifice an artifact, add mountains, so it's a way to like ramp mountains, but again, with the other options that we have, that didn't seem like a great one. So be sure to comment on your thoughts, opinions. If there's a card that you would like to see built into a commander deck, let me know. If you have any just suggestions, tips, just in general for building a commander deck too, would love to hear it. I've Googled a couple different deck building strategies, and so I've got kind of like a rough idea, but again, I'm trying to work primarily with the cards that I have, which at this point is pretty limited. My inventory's pretty low, but if I do have to buy some cards in the end, I will buy some cards if I need to fill in gaps or whatnot. So let me know what everyone thinks, and I think this will be a fun little way to not only challenge myself, but also show people that, you can build decks from pretty much anything. So thank you.